All right, this is your market recap for October 15th, 2025. As you can see today, we did play bullish. A lot of this move was done, well, pre-market, meaning, well, some of it was done 7 a.m. to market open, but some was also done overnight during the London session. Um, we also we fell off this high during New York session. That was the 11 o'clock reversal today. So if we go down to the hourly time frame, we can see most of the move actually happened overnight. So market opened here, didn't have much of a sell side wick at all. Then we just rallied, kept rallying, and then we were targeting this high. Now, the reason why we're targeting this high, in my opinion, this is what I saw. So I saw, boom, we had this SMT yesterday, right? Yesterday for lunch. So from there, we retraced. What happened once we retraced? If this SMT is valid and we're playing bearish, this low should get hit, right? But what ended up happening instead is we reacted off of this 1 hour fair value gap here. Look at those closures right around constant encroachment, expanded upwards, even went as far as taking out this high here, which 100% tells me that we're no longer targeting this low and no longer playing bearish. So if we get rid of this SMT from our mind, bullish fair value gap here, took out this high, nice. So then we have this hourly fair value gap here, pre-market here, 7 o'clock dips into this hourly fair value gap, expands up out of there, market opens, we rallied downwards. I graded this 1 hour buy side wick here. Reason for that is because if we look over here, there's no real inefficiencies, right? There's no fair value gap or anything for us to base a trade off of. So I took the largest and the highest of these buy side wicks here, extended it outwards, and we'll see that it gets hit pretty well. And from there, we rallied upwards, took out this high. ES played cleaner in this aspect. For the reversal, ES came up and filled this gap here. I'm sure if I pulled up the two charts and actually figured it out, I can find out why NQ didn't come all the way up here. But it's not like ES had a crazy big expansion. It's that, well, we had this SMT, so ES was already higher, right? That this SMT is the reason why we didn't get up to this fair value gap, but ES did. So from there, the 11 o'clock reversal brought us all the way back down below AM sessions low, tapping equilibrium of this bullish move here. And then if you look here, it's kind of hard to see with this line, but price rocketed all the way down here, took out this low, and then came all the way back up. And then we kind of ended in this range right there. So down to the 15-minute, we can see better what I'm looking at. We had, again, expansion here, took out this high, retraced to this hourly, nice. We expand upwards, retrace upwards one more time, setting this up here. Did I think, or would I, let me rephrase that. Did I think we'd play some sort of sell side today before targeting that high? Yes. I didn't think we'd come this low though. I thought we might stay in this fair value gap or even play off this low with that SMT, but that ended up not happening. We ended up playing an SMT of these intermediate lows on the 5-minute time frame, expanding upwards, taking out this high, and then stopping dead here for London close, which then we took all the way to sell side, took out this low down here, and then returned back to this hourly sell side wick, or buy side wick, sorry. 5-minute time frame, we can see here. Boom, 5-minute fair value up here, could have been used to play bullish. Now, there is a lot of times where pre-market doesn't really do much, right? Like it just consolidates. But what tells us here, and now I'm kind of just speculating because I don't really know, because I haven't really been looking at pre-market much, but just from what I have seen over the course of a couple of years I've been trading, pre-market starts and we want to find some sort of liquidity. So pre-market starts at 7. And what do we have? We have relative equal lows down here. So we come down, take out these lows, and react off this hourly. We start playing bullish. Right, we start playing bullish from there, take out this high. Now we'll see on the 1 minute, but we take out this high and then retrace down to this 5 minute. Well, twice, which is a bit of a problem because enter here, you get stopped out, and then the move actually goes. But notice what time this candle is. 8 o'clock during the macro. Well, technically all 3 of these are in the macro. We'll see what is given though. But from there, we rallied up, took out this high, consolidated, which is another thing that told me that we're most likely to play bearish at pre-market, or sorry, at market open. SMT these highs pushing us down. If you look here, 15-minute inverse, boom, validated there. We come down, up, react off of it as an inverse, takes us all the way down below these intermediate lows, which I mentioned earlier. Again, look at the closure. So this fib right here, these 5 lines, is that buy side hourly wick, right? If we look here, closures at 25%, closures at 50%, plays very nicely there. Bullish above this high where we stop. Again, macro down all the way to this low. Very unconvincing of a sweep. Tells us we're not going to continue. Expand upwards, retracing to this 5 minute for the macro, expand upwards again, failing to take this high, come down lower, deeper into the 5 minute. Well, we kind of just stayed in this range, in all honesty. I'm not going to explain all the back and forth, but so if we look pre-market, here is this. Pull up ES. What time is that? 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock, right here. Yes, what do we see? So, we see an NQ, hourly, upwards, expand above this high, sweep it here. So we wouldn't have even entered here because this high hasn't been taken. Take it, retrace to the 5 minute. Look here, this low right here is lower than these. This one is not. So here, oops, sorry. Here we have an SMT of these lows. Boom, which then, even if we take this 1 minute right there, boom, we're in there. Stops, constant encroachment, playing bullish. If you caught the high, it's a 1 to 5. Profits at this high still would have been a 1 to 2, so that was good. But if you really wanted to get fancy with it, you can full screen this now. You can use the fib, find some expansions. Let's do -1 is there. Coincidentally, this high. What's this high? 9D1. That's exactly this high, which is, you might think it's a coincidence. Some others might say it's not. Didn't quite get to a 1 to 3, but we got a 1 to 2, which I would be more than okay playing. Given the speed at which we come up here, what I would do is I'd set this profit, right? So I'd set this as at halves. So this would be take out half my contract with the plan on catching more. And I would have put another one at 2, maybe another one at 3. But once we got past 2, I'd start trailing my stop below every candle. So the second that this candle came down below this one, I'd be out. So that would be right there. So technically a 1 to 4, 8, which for pre-market is pretty good. Pretty good. So a good thing about pre-market is you might enter when volume is low. So your stop loss is nice and small, and then volume picks up. And if it's in your direction, you're golden. Again, SMT of these highs pushed us down. So my entries, I was bullish today. I did lose twice though, unfortunately, because, again, let me pull up ES. 930, here we are. This is the same price action as over here. Let me throw this here so you can see that better. So we see here, market opens. Like I mentioned, I was expecting some sort of sell side action below this low, right? So we get that here. But if we look here, the low on ES is the 930 low, so this low. All of these lows are below that low, and all of these highs are above this high, but there's not a single one up here. So NQ is going down, ES is going up. We're completely uncorrelated at the moment. Now, the reason I lost is because I entered while the market was uncorrelated. What I figured out is that what we need price to do is we need it to clear the slate. We need some sort of highs or lows to be broken on both of them. In this case, NQ is trailing downwards. ES took this dive, took out this low, which reset the board completely, right? NQ already had all these lows taken. ES took out those lows and reset the board. So from there, we then expanded, right? We had a lower time frame, 15-second SMT during the macro. Coincidence? I don't think so. Which then expanded up to here. This wouldn't have been the largest trade just because from bottom to top, given where the change in the state of delivery happened, I believe it was, I want to say 36.75. Stops at constant encroachment. There is a 1 to 3. If you have it at the low, it's a 1 to 2. We'll say there. Um, and then we grade this. It is reasonable. Given how large this retrace is, we're not going to do like a 1 to 2 like the last time. We'll just say it's reasonable for it to expand another 25% above it, which is close to this high. So we might say, okay, give me more, and boom, 5 or 50 right there, which ends up working pretty well. So boom, right there, 1 to 4, right, as price consolidates. I will take that any day. That is actually going to be trade of the day. Yeah, trade of the day right there. Bang. So once we get up here, obviously we consolidate. Big, big move here, 200 points. Puts us into consolidation. What gets us out of it is this macro. I don't think we had any buy side SMTs, but if we pull up ES once again, this is the same case. But not exactly the same, but if we look at if we look at NQ, we come up here, create this high, and we consolidate in this range, right? We're in this range. But what does ES do? ES creates this high, which is the same as this one, and we start trending lower, right? So what do we know? Either all of these highs on both of them has to get taken, or all these lows have to get taken. ES has already taken all these lows. So what does NQ do? NQ comes down, takes out those lows, and boom, now we're equal, right? 1, we're at a consolidation. 2, we're back in sync with each other. 3, macro started the move up, nicely left this 1 minute for value up there. Boom, you can take this short. Personally, wouldn't have played short just given how high we rallied, but we did come down, take out this low for lunch, and then we continued lower all the way down to this low over here where we barely swept it and immediately came up off of it. Lower time from SMT here before we returned back into this range, the hourly buy side. Now, I'm going to talk more about that hourly. We can see here, closure, 25% up, wick down, 50%, nice, up, down, closures, and wicks around 75% to play bullish. I'll take it. I mean, I will use this any day to give me a reference of when to expect things to happen. Yeah, now going into the future, hourly time frame market is kind of a mess. We've been knowing this, but no SMT of this low. Came up, took out this high on both NQ and ES, which is good. Came down, took out this low on both NQ and ES, which is good, and immediately came up off of it. This makes me think we are going to play bullish. Tomorrow's Thursday. There's no red folder news for the rest of the week, I believe. I don't think it's outrageous for us to come take out this high. These up here, yeah, it's a little outrageous, but I won't put these out of the question. We'll have to see what market does between now and then. If we just stay in this range, I'm not going to have much to do, honestly. I need market to give me a little bit more than that. But yeah, this has been your market recap for October 15th, 2025.